What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Lasagna here, coming in with my first YouTube video, and in today's video we're going to talk about some general tips and tricks for the game Shotgun Farmers. So why did I want to make this video? I run into a lot of noobs online, and I just want the community to get a bit better at the game, and also the game was recently on Steam sale and is coming soon to console, and I want everybody that's new to the game to have some resources to look at to up their gameplay and just become a better player in general. So let's get right into it. So our first order of business into making you guys better farmers in general, we're gonna have to talk about settings. So it's been one too many times that I pull up someone's stream and I get a little bit motion sick because either their sensitivity is really high or they're just not playing on an adequate field of view. So I'm gonna show you guys how to set that up. So if you just want to pull up your options, and then under gameplay, you'll see your mouse sensitivity and your FOV. So you definitely want your mouse sensitivity to be something comfortable enough where you can play confidently, you can track your opponents, but you can still, pull out those 180s whenever you need to turn on somebody. But secondly, we need to take a look at FOV, guys, because the default of FOV is 60, and I'll show you guys what the map looks like on 60 here. So look how much less of the map you can see here. Now this is obviously a competitive disadvantage, and you're going to want to put the FOV as high as your PC can handle. So I play on 103, and just look at that. Absolutely beautiful. You can see the whole map. You can see so much more of your peripheral, and it's just so much fun to play on because you feel super fast and super clean. So mess around with it, guys. Mess around with all your settings in general, your graphics and your FOV, your sensitivity, and different combinations of those. Make sure to build up some muscle memory and have some settings that you feel confident and comfortable on, and that's all you can do. And then the rest from there is just learning the game. You don't want settings to get in the way of learning the game. So that's all I have to say about that. Just make sure you find something you're comfortable on, guys. So now that we have settings out of the way, you guys found some settings that you're very comfortable on, very confident, we can talk about some actual gameplay stuff. So in this game, I wanted to highlight 3 things that are really important to being a good player, and that's movement, map knowledge, and positioning. So I'll start with movement here. There's 2 types of movement that you guys need to learn: out of combat movement and in combat movement. So when you're out of combat, so you're not fighting another player, you're gonna wanna be moving quickly. So that means when you pick up a gun and no one's around, you wanna instantly switch to your shovel. And you wanna have your shovel equipped at all times when you're not in combat. You guys will see this in my gameplay all the time. If I'm not in combat, I have my shovel out. It's just that simple. You'll build some muscle memory for it, and you'll look super quick while playing too, so it's pretty fun. Now when you're in combat, it's all the opposite. You don't want to be moving in a straight line, you don't want to have your shovel out, and you want to be really unpredictable because there's so many one-shot weapons in this game. You can get one-tapped with a shotty, one-tapped with a sniper, you can get lasered down with the M6 Bean or the LMG. So you really want to be unpredictable, and that includes strafing back and forth, as you guys see all the time throughout my gameplay. You can even throw in some crouching, and the odd jump. I wouldn't jump too much because it does make your path pretty predictable, but it can be okay. And also when you're out of combat, the very opposite, while you're in combat, you'll want to be jumping around. And that's because it'll actually make your noise more periodic. People will really hear you thumping around if you just kind of creep behind them like full sprint. So you'll want to be actually jumping around, and you guys will see that when I'm out of combat. I'm jumping around the map, I'm not walking behind people. So about map knowledge now. Now this one's pretty simple, and it just comes with playing the game. You gotta know where those weapons and shields are. So the shields especially, guys. I cannot count you how many players where I'll go a whole game without seeing them have a lick of shields. There's every map except for Graveside, I believe, has a small shield and a big shield. So you guys need to know all the locations of those and always try to pick them up and go out of your way to get those. Because, if the tankier you are, you're going to win more gunfights. Even if the other player has a better shot. If you have 200 HP, that's 3 headshots with a magnum at medium range. nobody's gonna kill you. You're literally a raid boss, so make sure you pick up those shields, guys. In terms of weapons, it's not as important as shields, but it's for sure important. Like, how many times have you been sniped in the head by a good player from across the map while you have a shotgun in your hand? It's just, some of the weapons are really good and situational, and you guys should, experiment with them, find which ones you like, and picking those up and knowing the spawns is going to be really helpful for you guys. And the last thing I want to talk about is positioning. So this kind of goes hand in hand with picking up guns, because depending on your gun, you're going to want to position differently. But a general rule of thumb for you guys is always try to find high ground. Make sure you're climbing those ladders and not just fighting in the pits of, in the slums, You want to be getting the high ground positions and dropping on people with shotguns. You want to be sniping from people from on top of roofs. And the reason that high ground is so good is because what you see is a whole lot of the other player's head. What they see is a whole lot of your crotch. So you're going to be hitting those headshots and they're going to be dying because it's so much harder to hit your head whenever you're taking a fight from low ground. So to recap, guys, make sure you have fast and efficient movement outside of combat and very erratic, unpredictable movement in combat. Make sure you know your maps, know your shield spawns and your weapon timing spawns, and pick up the shields, guys, please. And also just take the high ground if you want to put it simply. But, if I was to go in more in depth, I would say play to what weapon you have. If you have an LMG, you're going to want to be on top of a building because you're very predictable when you have an LMG. You don't have very many movement options, so you really have to, be clear of those shotgun shots. So that's pretty much it, guys. If you follow those tips, the game really isn't that hard, and I'm sure you'll be a really good player in no time. Just make sure to keep all those things in mind while you're playing, and try to ask yourself why you're dying to better players, or why you're losing games and stuff, rather than blaming your teammates or any of that nonsense. So I'll pull up my stats here for you guys in case you guys are interested in the weapons I like to use or anything. And that's pretty much it for me. Just make sure you sub to the channel for more Shotgun Farmers content. And if you guys want to watch live on Twitch, the link to that will be in the description as well. Thanks, guys, and we'll see you on the next one.